what I've noticed is that the times that I feel really wounded are the times where I feel rejection. So having my, mother pass away when I was young, or my best friend die, that was hard, but I didn't feel traumatized by it. It was very hard. But around the same time, having one girlfriend and then another break up with me, that sounds like lighter or easier, but interestingly it wasn't. It was devastating, like for, years. And so I thought, oh, okay. So, someone choosing no longer to be in a relationship, and very nice, like, oh, I love you, but it's done, I'm moving on. That's why, I use this word rejection-ophobic. Like, it feels like that's a place of resistance. And it's a stubbornness, like, no, how can you? We're in love. And it, even, decades later, I can see it showing up in friendships and my primary relationship, this exaggerated fear, or, of, not being liked, appreciated, loved. And that feels like a taproot of ego. And that's what I wanted to kind of check in with you about.
I remember when I parted from my first girlfriend. We had been together for about 3 years, and I guess I was about 21 or so. I thought we were just going to live happily ever after. I thought we were going to have 4 kids and get married and just live happily. And then she called me one day to tell me it was over, just out of the blue like that. I had no idea it was coming. And just in a 3-minute telephone call, the bottom just fell out of my world. And I was faced, before I was able to rationalize it in my mind, I was faced with the realization that I had invested all my happiness in a person, in one person. My happiness was so conditional. Not only was it invested in one person, but it was invested in that person behaving a particular way. And in fact, what I wanted that person to do was invest her happiness in me. Then we could kind of be glued together in this pact of both investing the happiness in each other. And then our love, our happiness would be secure. And then one day she told me, no, my happiness is not invested in you. It's invested in somebody else. Sorry. And actually, if we invest our happiness in anyone or anything, at some stage we're going to be faced with this feeling of being let down, feeling of being abandoned or rejected. Or it's inevitable. It has to be that way. If we invest our happiness in an object, a situation, a person, a state of mind, because all objects, situations, people are intermittent, sooner or later we're going to be abandoned. It's a law. It can't be any other way. don't. The feeling of being abandoned is, or being let down, or is the symptom. But the cause is much deeper than that. The cause is this investment of our happiness in an object, in this case in a person, in a relationship. And the cure for that cause is not to get busy with the person, with the relationship, but to discover where happiness really resides. In the simple knowing of your own being. Once you discover that, then you never again invest your happiness in anyone or anything. You're free. If you find somebody that you like and that you can share this happiness with, then that's beautiful. You get together for a few weeks or a few years or a few decades or for the rest of your life. But the purpose of being together with that person is not to find happiness, not to find love. If we approach another person with a desire to derive happiness or love from them, the relationship is doomed. At best, it will just be a pact between two people investing their happiness in each other. There can't be true intimacy. There can't be true love. It's dependency. It's not love. It looks like love from the outside, but it's not. It's actually fear. It's fear of losing one another. Masquerading as love for one another. Actually, I'm not suggesting there isn't love in that kind of a relationship, but it's a relationship that is held together by fear. Fear of being abandoned, fear of loss. So we should be very courageous in relationships. And face clearly the fact that happiness can never be derived from an object or person. But we really have to be courageous to face that fact. So that our relationships, intimate or otherwise, are free of expectations, free of demands, free of the fear of loss. So that what holds a relationship together, for as long as it holds together, is simply the love of being together. Simply just the joy of sharing this love together and expressing it. So that's what I would encourage you to explore, that the feeling that your happiness is dependent on anything or anyone. And strangely, if we discover in a relationship that our happiness is not dependent on the other, it's possible that we might decide to separate, but it's more likely in a relationship such as yours, where there's obviously real love, that the relationship would actually improve. In other words, the more freedom you give each other, the less you need from one another, the less you demand from one another, the less your happiness is invested in one another, the greater the depth of the love between you. The more playful, the more humorous, the more warm-hearted, the more spontaneity, the more freedom there is in the relationship. Nothing binding you together, but chances are you'll stay together just out of love. And if you don't, then you part in love. That's also fine.
Thank you.